pro games. So let's begin first by getting my screen up here. And by the way, I need a touchdown from Terry McLaurin here, only because he's only got me a whopping 3 points tonight. Should have left. Last week I benched him. He scores 25 points for me. Now, granted, I still won by 50, but there we go. Let's go college here. Let's begin with a Friday night game. And let me share my screen there. Share. And I'm going to share my DraftKings screen here. And first game, I'm going to go with the Friday night game. That is Kansas State and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is not that good this year. And Kansas State is the defending Big 12 champs. Let me find their game here, because I did see something here that I really liked. I thought Kansas State was ranked. Anyways. No, they're not ranked. Okay. They're trying to get back in there. Okay. So Kansas State, the one thing I'm concerned about is Oklahoma State gives up 137.5 rush yards a game. And Kansas State runs for almost 200. They had a win over UCF last week. Oklahoma State has had 2 ugly losses, an ugly loss to South Alabama at home. And they lost last week at Iowa State. And, they barely beat Central Arkansas, which is a Division II school. They beat Arizona State a couple weeks ago, but that wasn't all that exciting of a game. Kansas State's an 11-point favorite. I'm going to take Kansas State. I think they win by at least 14 there, maybe more than that. I'll take Kansas State tomorrow night by 11. Then the Saturday games. Let's go all the way down here and let's go to the Colorado game. Colorado takes on Arizona State. It's a 6:30 game. It's not a 10:30 game, surprisingly, which surprised me because I figured this would be a little bit later because it's still hot as fuck out there. Colorado has some injuries. They did show some life there in their game against USC. USC probably, they did let Colorado hang at the end of the game instead of just, putting their foot on their throats and beating them by 50 or 60. But they got Arizona State. They're an A team. Arizona State. They do have one thing going in their favor in this game. It's going to be hot there. The projected game time temperature right now in Arizona State for Saturday is 102 degrees. And, it's a dry heat, blah, 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 but hot is hot. And I'm not sure what they're doing for body acclimation for the game, but I think with that and also the fact that maybe the injury to their two-way star being out for a couple more weeks, and maybe and also Colorado can't stop diarrhea right now. But I'm going to go Arizona State in an upset here, so I'm going to go money line plus 160. I think Arizona State wins that. And it may even be a game that goes down to the wire. But I'm going to take Arizona State here. I'm not going to worry about those 4 points because I don't think they're going to need those 4 points. And I think they win that game in Arizona State. Next game I will go to is in the Mountain West. Fresno State, 24th in the country, takes on Wyoming. Wyoming is 4-1 this year so far. Fresno State's 5-0. They're going for their 15th straight win. And Fresno State, they last lost last year. Their last loss was October 8th against Boise State. So they ran the table after that. They shut out Wyoming last year 30-0. I think in this case, what you're going to have here, also remember, Wyoming is also the highest altitude stadium in college football. They're about 7,000 or 8,000 feet. And they're going to let you know about it because I think it's painted on their field as well. I really think that Wyoming could upset here. And why is that? I just think that the thinner air there may play a factor in there for a team like Fresno State, even though they go up there every other year. I'm sure they have their ways of combating that, but I think that if Wyoming can get their running game going here, they do rush for 184 yards a game. That could be a good sign there. And I will take Wyoming in an upset here. So this is going to be another money line wager. I am going to take Wyoming at plus 190. I think they're going to win that outright. And the final college game, I went too far. USC and Arizona. USC's back home after their 2-game trip to Arizona State and Colorado. Well, they went back to campus, but you get the idea. But I think USC, after having a close game in Arizona State, what turned out to be a close game in Colorado, I think they're going to want to get back some of the swagger, even though they do have the swagger. I just think that they'll want to blow out Arizona here, and I think they will. And 21.5 is a ton of points, but it's a home 21.5 points that they're giving up here. And I think it's going to be an easy win for USC here on Saturday night, the late game. And I'll give the 21.5 points, and that's at minus 110. So my college picks: Kansas minus 11 over Oklahoma State at minus 110. I'll take Arizona State on the money line, plus 160 over Colorado. Wyoming, plus 190 money line over Fresno State. Fresno State's due to lose. And USC at home, minus 21.5 over Arizona at minus 110. And if I, had the money and two, the balls, well, I do have balls, but that parlay would play plus 26.48. So that would be a nice chunk of change to have in my account there. So those are the college picks. To the National Football League. I'm tempted to take Jacksonville on Sunday, but I'm not going to touch that game. I'm not going to make that one of my picks. Let's begin with the Lions and the Panthers. The Panthers look horrible. Detroit, they look half decent. They're 3-1 now. I think that they're going to have an easy win here. I think they're my survivor pick because I'm still alive. I got that scare last week. I'm going Detroit at minus 10 at minus 110. I think Detroit wins rather easily. Second game. Let's go to the desert again. Arizona hosts Cincinnati. And if you're afraid of Arizona losing a close game, take Cincinnati. Or or take the 3 points. Something is seriously wrong in Cincinnati. Well, Joe Burrow's calf, obviously, but the team isn't gelling. Arizona, they're playing much tougher than we expected. Maybe there's a bit of a letdown if they're beating the Cowboys. Now, granted, they lost to San Francisco last week, but I really like what I see from Arizona over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to take Arizona in an upset at plus 136. I think they win that outright. Then we're going to poke the bear here with the Kansas City Chiefs. We had a week where they blew out the Bears, which was shocking that they blew them out, let alone covered a huge spread. Then they had a huge spread on the road in at the Meadowlands, and they almost lost to the Giants. And a lot of people were complaining, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes slid down, and he could have scored a touchdown. I could have won my wager." Hey, those things happen. You just deal with it. You take the loss, you take it like a man, and you move on to the next day. And that's one of the problems with gambling is, oh, he was on the take and blah blah blah, whatever. But Kansas City's a 3.5-point favorite over Minnesota. Maybe Minnesota has their game back a little bit after winning in Carolina. Maybe they're just plain awful, and because they played Carolina, they won. But either way, it's a 4:25 game. It's not a 1 o'clock game. It's 4:25. We know how Kirk Cousins is in non-1 p.m. games, and I'm going to go with Kansas City. Minus 3.5 at minus 108 there. So only an 8% vig there right now. And I'll take Kansas City. And that'll be a win there for me. And finally, I skipped over it. I'm going to go back here. The Eagles, they're down to a 3.5-point favorite here. There were 4 on ESPN when I was scanning the games this week. And as you know, as long as I don't forget this segment, I will pick every Eagles game on Thursday nights, or the night before the stream before the game. I think the Eagles are going to run the ball in the Rams, and they're going to run it, and they're going to run it, and they're going to wear down that defense, and the Eagles are going to win this game rather easily, and look easier than what it is. Eagles haven't played a full game yet, but this team could be on the cusp of blowing a team out on the road. And, Tampa Bay was a bit of a blowout, but, wasn't all on all cylinders. But I'm still going to go with the Eagles here. Minus 3.5 at minus 112. And, if it's usually when you get VIGs that are 12% here, I try to avoid. But because this is a pick that I'm going to have here for the Philly Phade, I'm going to go with it. So I'm going with the Eagles here, minus 3.5. So my picks for Sunday, I got Detroit minus 10 at minus 110. I got Arizona money line at plus 136. I have Kansas City Chiefs minus 3.5 at minus 108. And I got the Eagles minus 3.5 at minus 112. And if I had the Huevos to play this as a 14 parlay, it'd be plus 1542. But for the record, it's just the 8 single wagers that are part of the Philly Phade for this weekend. So that is going to be it for now. Just a reminder, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time, as long as my work schedule is 1 to 9. Maybe we do another sidecast if work permits, with my